Well, my friends, hello, new backdrop for you. The sun has well and truly set on 2025. We're in a brand new year now, and when I was out on my walk earlier, recording my other video, which you can find on my Twitter account, I was reflecting on the state of play that faces us all. Because I think for many generations there was a very clear structure of what you were expected to do, or that you were fed along the conveyor belt of school and university often, or learning some kind of trade, and then you got married, you had your children, you got your house. And the thing is, we look back on all of this very, very nostalgically, because even when I was growing up and things were certainly more traditional, there were many millions of people that weren't doing the straight-laced thing. There were millions of people who were, even back then, they were starting their own businesses. But of course, we have the internet now, which makes things extraordinarily different. But there are opportunities in all of these things. And I think that we have a real opportunity to actually build really good collections, not big, but really good communities and collections of men, so that we can actually start supporting each other. Because I'm actually rereading a particular book by an author called Robert Bly, who is an American author. He died recently in his 90s. But he wrote a fantastic book called Iron John. And I first read this book, I would say in the mid 2010s, something like that, 2016, 17, somewhere around in there. And I reread it a few years ago, and I'm rereading it now, and each time that I reread it, I get more information from it as my own perspective shifts. And the main thing that we don't have now is dedicated spaces for men to meet and discuss things in a male, masculine way with no interference from women. Because politics over the last century has radically shifted how we all convene with each other. And the thing that happens when women become involved in many things, but particularly when it's a male sphere, well, there's a lot of language policing that goes on. And there's a lot of safeguarding and security seeking and neatening around at the edges. And the truth is, I have always found myself at the sort of the center, the crossroads of these two worlds, the masculine and the feminine, because I'm 44 years old now, and I actually first started going to the gym when I went to London, so the early 2000s, and I've done it off and on ever since then, and it's been enormously beneficial, and my life is always better when I go to gym rather than when I don't. But I remember the first gyms that I went to in London, it was only men that went. There were no women, and the gyms you would go to, even in central London, you think, oh gosh, they must have been really fancy. Nah, they were quite basic, quite functional, quite dark, one might almost say dingy, but they were incredibly focused. You knew exactly why you were there, and every other person had the same common aim. They wanted to get fit, they wanted to do it in a very robust and basic atmosphere. Go in, do the work, come out, bush, done. That's And we've lost that straightforwardness. Everything now feels more laborious. It's harder work, but it also feels injected with so much drama. And when I watch podcasts now, maybe with a couple of exceptions, what I really look for is calm, intelligent men talking about real things, about how to deal with certain situations and do it in a really simple way. And that's what I want for my 2026. It's what I want for every single year. And we're all figuring things out. And I think there's definitely a quest for meaning and a quest for purpose, and finding out establishing our own particular brand of authenticity. Where do we fall on different spectra? Where do we fit on fitness, on business, on health, community, friendship groups? What really suits us? And I think the key is not being afraid to seek out, but also not being afraid to ask questions. Because I can guarantee you that even if people are mocking, we all know that deep down they've got the same questions as well. But they're just not brave enough to actually ask them, or proactively look for groups where they're able to do that. And I've wanted to create a community of people for a long time, where we can discuss our emotional and psychological needs. And let's face it, before all of this, you would go to your church and you would confess and you would have the pub and people would, men would discuss things. We don't really have that now. A lot of those institutions have been ripped away from us. And so we are going online, which means, frankly, it opens the gates to meeting people all across the world who are looking for the same things. And so we can tailor our communities to however we want them to be, to get that sense of togetherness that we've lost, but also to regain a certain amount of hope, because there's no doubt in my mind that there are so many millions of men who feel like they're drifting and know that there's so much potential within them, but they somehow need to unlock it somehow. And I've been doing that since the end of 2014, when I left a particular long-term job, trying desperately to figure out what the fuck that I want to do. And I've always known that it's involved some kind of teaching. And somebody that I worked with, actually, I talked about this on a video a while ago. There was somebody that I worked alongside. She was in a different department. But she said, the thing is with you, Martin, you'd be really, really fantastic at teaching people things. And she wasn't really specific about it, but she could feel that resonance, because I have a huge desire to be of service, but I also have a desire to be my most confident and self-assured self that I can possibly be. And I think with bringing other men together with a shared common aim of, solid self-improvement, that brings a sense of structure to it. And we don't feel like we're just flailing around, trying to just to purely figure out things as we go. you will find that with the right people, there will be a commonality of personality traits, but also of struggles that people are facing. And when you can get as many people as possible, it doesn't have to be everybody in that group, but as many people as possible, just to talk about what they're really facing and what they're frustrated by and what they want to change and improve. Well, I think that just creates a fantastic, momentum. But we need catalysts to do this, and I see myself as a catalyst for helping other men do this, whatever their personality type, because there are so many of us. And I talked recently that you've got the extremes, but all of us basically are somewhere in between. I talked about spectrums, and people will think, oh, Martin, you're just talking into camera. You're not really doing anything. It's not true. I get feedback a lot of the time, and it's reminding myself that there have already been people that I've helped. But it's just formalizing it slightly and systemizing it, definitely. So what I want to bring to my 2026 is structure, is focus and confidence to know that the answers that we need are absolutely out there and within us, but they need a sense of community and support in order to bring that out. So the most frequent phrase in the Bible is be not afraid, do not fear. And I think if we can all really embrace that and understand that there are many people and many men like us out there who are struggling but are capable, intelligent, and want to live life in a more peaceful and prosperous way and do it really solidly and powerfully, I think we can really, really help each other. I think a lot of people are feeling very, very bleak. But it's in those times of real darkness, of real bleakness and hopelessness, that if we come together, and not even that many men need to, we can do really, really great things. So make this year a decisive year. Don't be flimsy. Don't allow doubt to cripple you this year once again. Be stronger. Be more structured and go after what it is that you really, really want. And that way we can be an example to other men to do the same, because nobody likes being told what to do. We like to be shown what to do. And we can, more so than ever, with these little screens that we have in front of us, we can deliver powerful and positive messages to potentially millions of other men. I think that's a really, really powerful thing. Have a fantastic year.